Okay, dear Venerable Brother, Dhamma friends, we are going to start the first Dhamma discussion. As usual, Sharini is ready with the written reports. I hope the name correct, right? Okay, so we will start with the written reports.
Thero Swamin Wahansa, there are 13 reports and 3 Dhamma questions.
Right.
Question number 1. Most Venerable Bhante, during your meditation guidance session in the morning, first you advised us to concentrate on rising and falling of the abdomen and then shift to concentration on breathing in and out with sensation at the nostrils. Most of the time, I don't feel sensation at the nostrils, especially both in and out feeling. Sometimes I feel either air moves in or air moves out. Even though I tried hard, I don't feel, and then I go back to rising and falling. I have read and heard about different stages of breathing meditation, especially in Anapanasati Sutta, and I feel it is superior to rising and falling technique. Venerable Bhante, please advise me whether it is okay to continue with rise and falling technique without trying to go for breathing meditation.
Yeah, okay. This is a kind of a doubt that many people are having. So there is no any particular method to say that it is superior than to the other one. So rising and falling is a commonly widely used method, and it directly takes you to elements meditation. So you start with rising and falling, then later rising and falling become fairly evident to you. More subtle details of rising and falling also become more evident. And later it will completely align with the element characteristics. Say movements, vibrations, hardness, softness, maybe heat, cold. All that very subtle element characteristics become evident from you. And once you are familiar with it, probably it may even fade away, and then you can observe various characteristics in the whole body. So what we are doing is nothing but elements meditation, dhatu manasikara. On the other hand, the anapanasati also can lead to dhatu manasikara. So you start with typical in-breath, out-breath, and later you may come to a level even to understand some subtle characteristics of breathing, heat, cold, vibrations, movements, touch sensations. So likewise, that also can evolve towards dhatu manasikara. But anapanasati can evolve towards other areas as well. So that's the difference. So anapanasati can take you to deeper jhanic concentrations. Say while you practice anapanasati, it can lead to generate a concentration sign, what we call as the patibhaga nimitta, and using which you can get into absorptions, what we call as the jhana. So first, second, third, fourth jhanas are possible through anapanasati. So other than that, as the report mentioned, there's another technique going through anapanasati, touching all 4 foundations of mindfulness without directly touching the elements meditation, but going towards kayanupassana, vedananupassana, chittanupassana, dhammanupassana. That's also another way of handling it. Thing is, it's difficult for us to sort of control how we are practicing. So the practice has to naturally unfold. So it is not that we decide which direction to practice. Rather, the conditions naturally unfold in a particular direction, and then we can take that path and then can continue the path. Now say for example, if you are practicing anapanasati, suppose that you come to a level where breath almost has disappeared and you feel really happy or kind of rapturous, and tingling sensations are happening. So that means you are very much like going towards in the Anapanasati Sutta model, that procedure, and you can start practicing even Vedananupassana using Anapanasati. So that is what explained in this Anapanasati Sutta, where 16 steps are explained. First 4 steps related to Kayanupassana, second 4 steps into Vedananupassana, next 4 steps into Chittanupassana, last 4 steps into Dhammanupassana. And ultimately anyway, all these have to take you to a completely free mind. So that is the goal. So whatever the practice you entertain, ultimately it has to lead to non-grasping, not attached to anything in the world. So you are experiencing in complete freedom of the mind, non-grasping of the mind. So all the techniques, if you are practicing properly, any particular correct practice has to lead to this particular goal. So therefore we can't say one is better than the other. So it depends on how we are approaching and what we are practicing. But the ultimate goal is very much similar. So having jhanic absorption is another side benefit of Anapanasati. But Anapanasati also, if we are practicing from the Vipassana point of view, it has to take you to this kind of a freedom where without attaching to anything in the world, okay, mind release, mind become non-grasping. So, and today morning actually what I did was, first of all, get into the rising and falling, because it is, compared to Anapanasati, it is little easy for a beginner and even for anyone. So immediately put into Anapanasati might be difficult if we are little distracted and the mind is somewhat not concentrated yet. Then rising and falling is a easy technique for you to establish mindfulness, and then later slowly shift you to Anapanasati. That is possible. But that doesn't mean every time you have to do the same kind of a practice. But once you are capable, you can immediately go to Anapanasati, no harm. And sometimes if you feel, okay, it is not yet good enough to go to Anapanasati, you can do a couple of body scans or rising and fallings, and then you can go to Anapanasati. And on the other hand, if you don't want to do Anapanasati, you can stick to rising and falling. So these are different techniques, methods available. So, and also another point is, we shouldn't shift from one to the other every time. So that also is harmful in a way. Suppose that you are practicing Anapanasati, say 30 minutes, and then you are going to rising and falling another 30 minutes. So that's also not going to work, because we have to stick to one method, and then we are trying to go deeper using that method. If you are stick to Anapanasati, okay, go in that direction, no harm. If you are practicing rising and falling, okay, stick to that, go deeper using that method. So if anyone needs any clarification, please feel free to raise your hand and we can discuss.
Avasarai Swamin Wahansa, I want to find out whether it is suitable to contemplate on insight knowledge like Sammarshana Jnana and Udayavaya Jnana during or after Animitta state, when the mind is relatively pure without any signs.
Here, I don't think it is a good thing, because as you are enjoying animitta state, that means you are fairly released, you are free, and you are supposed to dwell there as much as possible in a very relaxed, very calm, very quiet way, unless you get again grasped due to some reason. Say you are trying to maintain a very relaxed, signless state, but due to any kind of provocation happening because of the defilements, again mind go and grasp something. At that moment, probably you can look at it from any kind of a Vipassana angle. So different techniques you can employ. Either you can say, okay, so this grasp state is very gross compared to that signless state. So this is a very heavy, very gross, coarse kind of a state compared to that signless state. Signless state is very relaxed, very calm, very quiet, very simple state. But here it is very gross. So you can recognize that change and then you can revert back to the signless. On the other hand, as Buddha say in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, you can recognize how this process has happened. You were in a fairly non-grasping, unconditioned state, but again mind has done series of conditioning, grasping, fabrications. As a result of that, your mind being shifted to this agitated state. So you see that how this process has happened. So you look back and see how these different events took place, and that is a kind of going back home. You are coming back to the signless. On the other hand, Buddha say, Olarikang Sankatang, Parissamuppanna. So the Parissamuppanna. So how this process has happened independently arisen as a dependently arisen process. Probably you have seen something, so the eye has contacted some sort of a form, and as a result of that, eye consciousness happened. It happened again and again, repeatedly. So the eye contact, it causes a sort of a feeling. That feeling being desired, grasped, ultimately upadana. So likewise, you can sort of analyze how dependently arisen way this series of events have happened. Or as you have suggested, you can see arising and passing of this, whatever the current agitated state. If there are feelings, if there are thoughts, whatever, you can look at them to understand their impermanent nature, arising and passing away nature. That also helps you to revert back to signless state. But the thing is, if you are entertaining or rather simply dwelling in animitta state, just be. Don't do anything. Nothing to do.
Question number 3, Venerable Bhante, sitting meditation. Focus was on the breath at the tip of the nose. I sensed the breath slightly inside the nose. The in-breath was cool. Sometimes I could also sense the breath further inside at the back of my throat. I also felt the breath on my upper lip. There was a pause after the in-breath. However, the out-breath would transition smoothly. Sometimes the breath was quick and short. The in-breath seemed shorter. I did not have to change the position of my legs, but I did change my arm position a few times. There were frequent lapses when the mind wandered. At one point, I had a neck pain and watched the pain instead of the breath. Walking.
It's okay to watch the pain if you are able to maintain a kind of a balanced mind. So in case if you feel, okay, I'm being frustrated, I don't like this pain, I hate it. So that's a kind of a mental state not yet mature enough to look at the pain. Because pain is a pain, right? If you are looking at the pain in the neck, it can be a pain in the neck. So therefore, if you are capable of maintaining a very relaxed, balanced mentality, even when you are watching the pain, no harm. You can see that. Otherwise, you can change the posture and come back to breathing, because watching the pain needs certain amount of patience, certain amount of concentration and mindfulness. And if you have that, and if you are mature enough to bear it, then you can go for that.
Walking meditation. I could keep my focus only for a few steps, 4 to 5 at most times. I watched the movement and felt myself getting into a rhythm. Is that okay?
Sorry, can you repeat?
I could keep my focus only for a few steps in the walking meditation, 4 to 5 times at most. I watched the movement and felt myself getting into a rhythm. Is that okay?
Is it a really melodious rhythm? You can enjoy that, by the way, but don't too much attach to that, because these things are changing. Don't purposely get into it. If it is very natural and relaxing, no harm, because it is not that we are trying to enjoy in a melodious way, a musical way. Rather, we simply allow the body to naturally walk. But you may experience some kind of a melody, some kind of a rhythm in that also. That's fine. I mean, as you are walking, it's a natural process. There is a kind of a rhythm. No harm to understand that. I think it's okay.
The sound was cool in some places. I felt the different textures of the sand and the firmness of softness of the ground. Different parts of the soles would come into contact with the sand at each step. My weight was also on different parts of the foot. Daily activities. I was mindful when walking and eating, but with many lapses. When eating, I could see that I anticipated the food and taste and savored it while eating. This faded away after a few mouthfuls.
It's okay. I mean, that means you are fairly mindful. As you are mindful, you can in a way kind of enjoy it. Because when the mind is distracted, we are simply swallowing it. We are simply doing it without much of an attention. But be mindful means that you are fully aware of each mouthful, and you are it's not, we can't say it's really enjoying, kind of being aware of the whole process. Additionally, you might enjoy, you sometimes go to the other side, you can't enjoy. Both can happen. Actually, recently I saw a little video on Japanese technique, the tea ceremony. So what is tea ceremony? Just drinking tea. Nothing special. But they do it in a ceremonious way. So they prepare it, and each and every little task they do mindfully. So that's the technique. They're preparing it, putting some whatever the tea, and putting some, I don't know, they are putting sugar, and mixing it and offering it and taking it to the hand, and then they rotate the cup several times and then mindfully sip it. So each and every little thing, I mean, just drinking the tea, nothing else. But it's a ceremony. Really interesting. I mean, they have that, what is coming from the Zen tradition, where very little, very ordinary activities, what we are going through in our daily life, so they add a certain emphasis, they add a certain value to it, and then we are enjoying it in a way. It's become a kind of a ceremony even. So you can do a sweeping ceremony, eating ceremony. So you can do and see. I mean, these are very interesting. I mean, how people are, because thing is, we become very confused nowadays. So our minds are very complicated, and we are thinking 1001 things, never enjoying the present moment. So someone has offered you tea, but you never even sort of appreciated that. You can't even say thank you, right? So we lost that connectivity. So we are living in a different world, while someone is helping us, someone is offering us tea, someone is giving us a lift or whatever, and we even forget to say thank you. So we lost our humanity in a way, our touch. But the Zen tradition in a way has taken back. So coming back to the ground, and we are very much like human, and we see how things are happening, and we enjoy that, we appreciate that, say thank you, and everything is there. So I think it is a very nice thing, so what they are talking there, because in a way we are complicating our minds, confusing our minds, and losing the direct touch. We are living in a hypothetical world, forgetting about the present moment.
Question number 4. Sitting meditation. Start with Anapanasati. After a little while, I started observing arising and passing of thoughts, which passed very quickly, and I can't remember. The mind was on the surface. Awareness was there when the body fell forward. Walking. Start with touch sensation without noting, and here also the same experience as in sitting, arising and passing of random unrelated thoughts. Walking was effortless, mind was relaxed. Day to day. Although in the formal practice I always start with Anapanasati and touch sensation for the last 9 years, since starting as an absolute beginner leaves me with no expectations. But in day-to-day mindfulness is on thoughts. I notice thoughts in 3 different ways. 1. Some thoughts arise and pass quickly without my intervention. 2. Some deliberate thinking for planning purpose and let go once task is done. 3. Some thoughts, if a liking or disliking arise, is fed by 4 to 5 thoughts. Mm-hmm. During the day, most of the time, the bored state experienced in Sakmana is felt. But it's difficult to keep this state for too long. Again, eye-making is seen. 2 qualities I like in others, which is intelligence and kindness, I try to substitute to myself and visualize it on the mind. Although I know it's only a visualization, I enjoy it with 4 to 5 thoughts. Also, when I go for outings, when I go with a ready mind with this particular person, irritation can arise. This particular friend, spontaneous jealousy can arise. With this particular food, within brackets chocolate, craving can arise. But ironically, when I go with a ready mind, it doesn't arise. Please advise me, Bhante.
It's good. I mean, you are doing a fairly close investigation to your own mind and how thoughts are happening and what are the kind of thought patterns available. That's a good thing. And probably you may enjoy certain freedom from thinking. I mean, it is not that you are forcing the mind to stop thinking, but as you are observing like this in a very relaxed, in a very intellectual way, and sometimes you may understand no need to feed the thinking. I mean, no need to think, basically. At that moment, probably you can keep a quiet mind. Just enjoy this quiet mind. Because sometimes it's very difficult for us to enjoy this quiet mind. While we are enjoying the quiet mind, again mind say, now mind is quiet. It's very tricky in a way. I mean, while trying to enjoy, it is saying, now we are enjoying the silence mind. Something like that. So just calm down, okay? Don't touch, okay? Don't talk. Just be. Just be quiet. It's a kind of an art in a way, because we are in a way kind of thinkers. We are too much thinking. Nowadays, people are too much into thinking, and that's what leads to so much of confusion and obsessions and desires and conflicts and everything. But if you are able to calm down, relax, be quiet and just be. Just be doesn't mean that you are non-functioning. You are fully functioning. You are completely functioning, fully active, but relaxed. No thoughts even. It's a kind of an achievement in a way in the spiritual life, and it is not that you are in a deep concentration either. So you can stop thinking by getting to an absorption, getting to a jhana and to a deeper concentration. But what I am telling is not that. So while you are walking, while you can see things, while you can smell things, taste things, still maintaining a relaxed, quiet mind. That's a really beautiful, marvelous ability that the human mind is having. But we haven't even heard it, we haven't never even experienced it. But the Vipassana practice helps us to achieve it. So actually I can remember one teacher called Sayadaw U Jyotika. I read one of his books, very interesting. And he's, okay, forget about that part. He's a Burmese Sayadaw. And he actually born as a Christian and then later became a Buddhist, became a monk and practiced heavily in the forest. And he has a nice book called Map of the Journey. And there he mentioned, there are days I have no thoughts, even a single thought. I was thinking, my goodness, when can I have that? So he is living a very simple life, maybe not much interacting during that time. But he is remembering now, while I was in this forest during that time, I was just going my village Pindapath and coming back to the kuti and just spending the life in that forest. And almost like I had no single thought during this whole day. It's a really interesting character. And during certain retreats, he say, okay, can you see that goosebumps is happening in me? So he's actually, while talking, he can attain even a jhana. It's a really remarkable character. Very, very rare such kind of a people who has the capacity to the samatha meditation as well as the vipassana meditation. Both he's really talented. So he's a master in both in a way. So nowadays he's not that popular. During those days he's quite popular. Now he seems like he's not much into teaching now. He's more into the solitary practice. But he's mentioning that his capacity, he can maintain even days without thinking. We can't do that even for 10 minutes. It is not that he become inactive or non-functioning. He is functioning. He is maintaining the whole daily activities. Nothing to think. The body is functioning. The things are happening. So thinking is something sometimes not necessary in a way. There are certain situations that we may have to think. At that time we can think, no harm. But on the other hand, if it is necessary to keep your mind quiet, are we capable of keeping it quiet? Very difficult actually. It is not that easy. But this is the kind of the direction that we have to move in a way. That's what we need to understand. This is very well explained in the Vipassana Sutta. In the last paragraph, let me tell that, otherwise you might not believe me. This is how it says. Ayang uccati bhikkhave bhikkhu vasi vitakka pariyapatesu. Yang vitakkang akankissati tang vitakkang vitakkessati. So this is the monks, what is called as the mastering of thinking. Yang vitakkang akankissati tang vitakkang vitakkessati. What if you want to think, you can think. Yang vitakkang nakankissati na tang vitakkang vitakkessati. If you think, okay, it is not necessary to think, if there is a particular series or kind of thoughts that I don't want to think, I am not thinking that. So basically you have mastered thinking. When it is necessary, you can think. When it is not necessary, you are not thinking. And if you think, okay, these thoughts are better, useful, beneficial, okay, you may be thinking. But if you think, okay, these thoughts are not necessary, these are harmful, you are not thinking. Complete mastery of thinking. Achijji tanhang, you cut off the craving. Vavattai sangyojanang. So the sangyojana means that the bondages, the hooks that we are bound to the sensual world, sensual realm. So those hooks being, straightened. Hooks being straightened. Now they are not further capable of holding you. So the mind is released. Vavattai sangyojanang. Samma mana bisamaya. Completely overcome the conceit. Completely overcome the conceit. Antamakasi dukkasa. Antamakasi dukkasa. That means, completely free from the dukkha, suffering. So you have overcome suffering. Antamakasi dukkasa. You have made an end of suffering. That's it. So this is the last portion of the Vipassana Sutta. So it's a Buddha's words, not my words. So it's a very interesting, extremely valuable statement that Buddha is making. Okay, as a result of this Vipassana practice, as a result of our Samatha Vipassana practice, so this is the aim that we need to have. Mastering of thinking. What is necessary to think, okay, you are free to think. What is not necessary to think, you are not thinking. So you can keep the mind quiet. So whenever type of desiring thoughts are going on, then you understand, okay, I am going against the Nibbana, okay, I am going away from that. So you have to stop it. So that's why it is mentioning achijji tanhang, you are cutting off the desires, cutting off craving. Vavattai sangyojanang, and various kinds of bondages are there, hooks are there, shackles are there, binding us to the samsara. And as a result of this practice, you are able to relinquish them, abandon them, unhook them. Vavattai sangyojanang. Tanha samma mana bisamaya. And you understand, these things are actually really subtle. Once you are coming to such kind of a capacity, that means you are fairly a master in the mind. So you can see even the subtle tendencies in the mind, subtle latent tendencies in the mind, how the conceit, I am, these kinds of very subtle defilements are arising in the mind. So that means you can overcome the conceit. The conceit, I am, is the most subtle defilement in what we have. It is only abandoned once one attains the arahantship. So this indicates that actually. So that means you are completely free from even the conceit. one becomes an arahant. So it's a path taking you directly to the realization.
Report number 5, Theruvan Saranai. Walking. At the beginning, this was very difficult as the mind kept going on to past and future thoughts. However, sometimes breathing becomes prominent and I started to feel the breath while walking. Second session of walking meditation was better than the first. I was able to focus on now I am walking on the feel of the ground. Sitting. During sitting practice, I felt my mind go through a cycle where thoughts of past and future comes. Then I go to a state I only feel the breathing. Sometimes during this stage, I know I am breathing, but I don't think of it, nor do I think of anything else. It's a very blank and still feeling. Then I go to my breath and back to the past, future thoughts.
Can you repeat?
Sorry.
No, not the last statement. Couple of statements.
Okay. Sitting meditation?
Okay.
Yeah. During sitting practice, I felt my mind go through a cycle where thoughts of past and future comes. Then I go to a state I only feel the breathing. Sometimes during these stages, I know I'm breathing, but I don't think of it, nor do I think of anything else. It's a very blank and still feeling. Then I go to my breath and back to past, future thoughts.
So I don't know why you are going back to past, future thoughts. It may be naturally happening. Maybe.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
This is what I have observed today. I don't have any specific questions at this moment.
Okay, just go through. I mean, you have observed what's really going on. I mean, it seems that it's not that purposely you get the thoughts related to the past or to the future, but they have come, but you understood them. No need to enjoy them, don't encourage them. Come back to the present moment, to the breath, basically. For a beginner, you know that the primary object is the refuge. As much as possible, you need to associate the primary object, so that is your sort of refuge, your pasture, and as much as possible, be with it.
Question number 6, walking meditation. Now I am able to keep the concentration on my primary object, that is sensation of the feet, very soon more than earlier. Automatically, focus kept on lifting, moving, placing. But after some time, again, I was carried away by thoughts, this time as kusala form regarding during pinkang and all.
I didn't get it.
I was carried away by thoughts, but of kusala thoughts. Like basically to do pinkang.
Okay.
Sitting meditation. As I am practicing anapana at home daily, also now I can feel improvement in anapana meditation. Happiness flows into my mind. First I keep the attention on starting and end point, on inhale as well as exhale. Then after 5 to 10 minutes, my breath, inhale and exhale, comes to one point. Then keep more concentration on that point. And with time, I felt that breath is also slowly reducing. Day to day, I focus on roughness of the feet, hardness of the pen. I like to contemplate Sankatai, Anityai, Paticca Samupannai as my Vidarshana Kamatahana. Is it correct, Bhante?
It's no problem. I mean, it depends actually. The Sankata Parissamuppanna, Olarika Sankata Parissamuppanna, that is one technique. So you can employ other techniques as well. Now in Anapanasati Sutta, Buddha say Aniccanupassi, Viraganupassī, Nirodhanupassi, Patinissagganupassi. These are other techniques. Different techniques are there. So if you feel okay, these are really interesting for you, no harm.
Question number 7, mindful walking. Primary object was to concentrate on both soles when they touch the ground. I was clearly able to differentiate the feeling in different surfaces, that is the choir mat, tile and the sand. Compared to earlier, I can concentrate more now. without my mind getting deviated. Only thing I have felt up to now is the roughness, coldness of the surfaces and the length of time I can concentrate without mind getting deviated compared to earlier times. Mindful sitting. Primary object is to concentrate on inhalation and exhalation while keeping my mind at the nostrils. I notice the length of inhaling and exhaling changing, and also the gap between inhaling and exhaling. I can be in one position maximum about 30 minutes, and the only obstacle is the physical pain, which I had to change the posture after 30 minutes. Mindful day to day. I am happy that compared to earlier, I can concentrate on my day-to-day activities about 50% of the time. One thing I have observed is, as I developed some amount of mindfulness, I was able to identify when I am not mindful.
That's it. Yeah, you are doing good. I mean, you are progressing, and fair amount of very even progress is there. Every area, walking, sitting, and daily activities. Keep going it.
Question number 8. Sitting meditation, breath movement of the stomach. At the beginning, as Bhante guided, started the meditation, spreading loving kindness to myself and to others. Then the body scanning and concentrated on the areas which had pain while sitting. Then started observing the movement of the stomach during inhale and exhale. I felt my mind is vulnerable and thinking of the past event and the things I am planning to do in the future. And then once I realized I am not concentrating, moved back to the movement of the stomach. I felt heaviness in my head.
Sorry, is it walking?
This is sitting meditation.
Sitting.
Okay. I felt, you want me to read that bit?
No, it's fine.
Okay. I felt heaviness in my head. Now walking meditation. While walking, I was trying to concentrate on my step throughout one lap. But time to time, I realized that my concentration had slipped away and was not paying attention to the step. Midway, I felt sleepy, and then I stopped walking for a few seconds and then again started walking. I felt cold inside my body, but that vanished after a minute or so. Then again, I was able to concentrate on my step. Please advise, how should I progress?
Yeah. I mean, there are certain obstacles, there are certain flaws in the path, but you are capable of understanding them. Again, bring your attention back to the primary object. I mean, this is the way. I mean, you can't immediately become 100% perfect. So things are happening, and mistakes do happen, but you understand it. You are mindful about them, but you are capable of bringing back to the primary object. So that's the only way. Go ahead.
Report number 9. I have gone for many retreats for nearly 4 years now. I have improved in meditation, discipline, talk, eat, all these from these retreats. My age 39, but sometimes I feel like we are creating artificial environments which are not practical in the real world. That is the retreats. I decided to observe SIL every day from 8 to 4 every day, and most of the days I am following that. Because of that, I am able to reduce my desire for listening to songs. Greediness for food until 4 p.m.
So after that, I don't know.
But Bhante, as I am going for many retreats, I notice my mind now like to wear colorful clothes, wearing makeup and enjoy. Get the attraction of others as well. I want to reduce these desires when Kamachanda comes. I can notice that as desire, but not always. Please advise from Satipatthana Sutra.
I mean, very honest in a way. You are trying hard, but honestly there are still desires just to beautify yourself. So actually, yesterday I just finished. Actually, today is the last day. I couldn't do that. So yesterday we completed the sermons in the Nissarana. There's a 5-day retreat. It was based on the Nanda Sutta. Who is Nanda? Huh? Sorry? Buddha's brother, right? So Buddha's brother is a very interesting story. That he's a really young person and he's about to get married and about to get thrown, and then he's about to get into the new palace. At that moment, Buddha pick him, ordain him. And now he's a monk, but he couldn't continue the monkhood because he was thinking about the fiancée. Who is that? Janapada Kalyani. She's a really beautiful woman, and while Buddha was picking him, when Nanda to the outside the palace, so Janapada Kalyani got the news and she came to the upper story and quickly come, quickly come. So that was her request for this going away Nanda. But now Nanda can't continue the monk life because again and again Janapada Kalyani comes to his mind. So he decided, okay, no point, I can't do this, I better disrobe. So he was quite honest in a way. He decided to disrobe, and he mentioned that to the other monks. Other monks reported that to the Buddha, and then Buddha asked him to come and ask, Nanda, is it that true that you are not capable of continuing this monk's life? Yes, Bhante. Why is that? Bhante, you know that when I am coming out, my fiancée, this Janapada Kalyani, she asked me to come quickly. Now almost several months lapsed. I still can't go there. I keep remembering her. Whenever I close my eyes, she is coming to me. And then Buddha said, okay, let's go for a round. And he took him from the hand. On the way back, there was a burning chena, and there was a almost dead monkey. And you saw that, Nanda? Yes, Bhante, I saw that. Okay, then directly to the Thavatinsa. And the King Sakka was there, and 500, what's they are called? That's a beautiful term for them. Divyangana, what's the English term? Sorry? Nymphs, right? Nymphs. Nymphs? Deities also something. Nymphs also a good term, right? Nymphs. And 500 of them were there, and so they are really beautiful. Nanda was so attracted to them. And then, Buddha was asking, Nanda, which one is much beautiful? Is that monkey or these ones? Oh, rather this Janapada Kalyani or these 500. Bhante, these are really beautiful. Janapada Kalyani is almost like that monkey that on the way I saw. So how about Nanda? I promise you to give you 500 nymphs if you do monkhood properly. Are you ready for this deal? Yes, Bhante, I am ready. Okay, now came back. Now Nanda back to monkhood. Now he is trying. But other monks get to the point. They are teasing him. They are telling, okay, you are such a person. You are just following the monkhood just to get 500 nymphs. What a shame. And you are like a in debt to the Buddha. Buddha has made a deal with you. It's not the monkhood. Like that they are keep on teasing him. And interestingly, and he's a person with a lot of lustful thoughts. And when he is coming to meet the Buddha, he is coming with very, the best kind of a robe. He wears almost like the Buddha's chivara, and even the senior monks get confused seeing Venerable Nanda as the Buddha. Because Venerable Nanda also capable, he's also coming from the Shakyan clan. He's also a prince. And it seems like, and it is mentioned in the book, he's only shorter than the Buddha, only 5 inches. Almost all the other features of the Buddha's body available can be seen in the Nanda's body as well. Even the senior monks get up and thinking that the Buddha is coming. And then Buddha has to put another rule, telling, okay, whoever monks wearing the robes, they shouldn't prepare a robe equal to the Buddha's robe. So the Buddha seems to be a tall person compared to the other monks. He seems to be a tall person, and his robe also a large one, and he's putting a rule telling, just to recognize him from the other monks, okay, other monks shouldn't wear a robe equal to the Buddha's robe. I mean the dimensions. That's a rule available in the Pachitya Khanda. Now, when he is coming to meet the Buddha, and Buddha mentioning, so Nanda is coming with some painted or something applied on his eyes, and with a very nice robe and with a very shiny ball. And Buddha criticized him. Nanda, when am I going to see that you are going on village Pindapata? Not going to the palace or these, the really nice places. When can I see you going on each and every house begging the food? When can I see you going on such a Pindapata? Nanda, when can I see you wearing the, that rag robes? Not the beautiful robes, just the rag robes. When can I see such a Nanda? Really beautiful. I mean, how Buddha is kind of restraining him in a really humanly and really beautiful way. And then, interestingly, he is giving up all these. He's giving up all these, bad habits, these, defiled states. And he's maintaining four interesting qualities in his life. So that is the theme of that Nanda Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. And one thing is the Indriya Samvara, the guarding of the senses, guarding of the faculties. So whenever he wants to see in a particular direction, he is guarding himself, warning himself, telling, will I get any kind of a defilement by seeing this direction? He is so careful. When he is looking to another direction, he is guarding his mind. Will I get any kind of a defilement? Now my mind is not defiled. Will I get defiled by seeing that direction? So he is guarding his senses. That is the first thing. Then he is mindful about what he is eating. Bhojane mattanyutata. That means during eating, so he is mindful and he is not overeating. He knows what exactly he wants to eat. Because certain food can really agitate the mind. So he is careful about the eating. This is the second thing. Then sati sampajanyena samannagato. And he is very mindful as well as he has a fairly penetrative ability. Vidita vedana upajjanti, vidita upattahanti, vidita abbattan gachanti. Only by knowing any particular feeling arise, only under his knowledge it exists, under his knowledge it pass away. Vidita sanya upajjati, vidita upattahanti, vidita abbattan gachanti. Whenever perception arises, he is aware. Whenever it persists, he is aware. Whenever it passes away, he is aware. Vidita vitakka upajjanti, vidita upattahanti, vidita abbattan gachanti. Whenever there is a thought arising, he is aware of it. Whenever it exists, he arises it. Whenever it passes away, he knows that. To such an extent, now he is developing mindfulness. That is the third. And then the fourth, the other interesting one, Jagaryanu yoga. Jagaryanu yoga hoti. While during the daytime, while walking, while sitting, and during the other activities, he is guarding his mind from the defilements, not allowing the mind to get defiled during the daytime. Then first watch of the night, he is guarding his mind from the defilements while walking and while sitting. Then the middle of the night, he sleeps mindfully, and again in the early morning he gets up and again guarding the mind from the defilements. So these are the four practices he particularly developed because he understands, okay, I am a lustful character. There are various tendencies in my mind, so I am a lustful character. I have to overcome this. Interestingly, he became an arahant as a result of the practice. And later, in the Buddha's dispensation, different monks are given the foremost in a particular area. Now say, Venerable Sariputta is the foremost in the wisdom, right? Venerable Moggallana is the foremost in the psychic powers. Venerable Nanda is the foremost in the sense restraint. Really beautiful. It's a living, really, these are really interesting stories. So those arahants are not, they just ordained and then became an arahant. No. They really worked hard. They understood their real, the defiled states, their latent tendencies, and then Buddha criticized them, and they honestly practiced. As a result of that, they were able to become arahants. So very, very interesting. So I just want to share these things with you, because understanding our drawbacks, our defilements, our sort of flaws in our mind is a really nice thing. Without understanding our flaws, there is no way to overcome them. And we understanding that means that we now start working against them. So just work hard. This is the only way.
Question number 10, walking meditation. Started noticing sub-elements of movements as below. Movement, heel, pressing the ground. Sub-element, heel touching, heel, apply pressure, ground surface, and feeling ground roughness on and around heel. This happening in a fraction of a second. Sitting meditation. Maintain focus and observe. Notice a slight drop in visual elements like light green or yellow lights when my eyes closed. At times thoughts disturb but can maintain focus. And also at times thoughts feel arising at a distance but don't result in disturbances.
Mm-hmm. I think there is no any difficulties. You are doing well. Just continue.
Question number 11. Avasarai Swamin Wahansa. This is my first visit to Vipassana Meditation Center, Kalalgoda. When I am trying to be mindful, my mind is going elsewhere and feeling sleepy as well. But anyhow, I am trying to take my mind to mindfulness position. Garu Swamin Wahansa, upadesak balapurattu wemi.
Just the practice. You understand the method. Understanding the method is the most important thing. But the distractions do happen. But as you walk, say for example, your foot touching the ground, because then you feel that gross sensation. Keep that as a kind of reminder to your mind. Okay, come back here. Just be here. Just be. Come back. Mind wanders. Again, bring it back. Again, bring it back. Keep continuing the path, and slowly, mind become sort of tamed. It will take some time. Don't be in a rush. Maintain certain amount of kind of an effort, and slowly you will become successful.
Question number 12. Meditation report. Seated meditation. Primary object, breath. Started by relaxing the body and observing various sensations arising and passing. Mind gradually focused on the breath. Observed in and out breath. Breath became subtle and intense pain arose in the left leg. Observed the pain getting more intense. Felt like shifting my position but was determined not to. A thought arose, what if this is my death moment? How painful would that be? The pain moved, became a throbbing, moving feeling. Observed that the mind was quite calm, although the painful feeling was shifting around restlessly. Finally, I did adjust my position, continued with observing the breath till the end of the session. Walking meditation. Primary object, sensations arising and passing on the soles of the foot. Nothing much to report, as it was quite a peaceful session of seeing the different sensations arising as the foot was placed and passing as the foot was lifted. Thoughts were present at a distance, duration 50 minutes.
Okay.
Daily activities, observed walk into the hall, to the washroom, etc.
Okay, fine. Nothing to add. You understood the method. It's a matter of continuing the path.
Question number 13, walking meditation. I focused on the sensations felt at bottom of my feet. Sand felt in different ways on different places of the walking path. Sometimes smooth, rough, cool, dry than other places. Fallen leaves also felt smooth and cool. Thoughts come and go. Sometimes they were short and identified immediately. After they go, sometimes thoughts are identified in retrospect, such as at the turning point. Sometimes they linger. There were lesser thoughts when observing the movement of legs as lifting, moving, placing, without labeling each and every time. There were more focus on the semicircular shaped movement of feet. At times, less details were felt, such as the texture of sand or its temperature, and placing of feet appeared as one sensation, smooth or cool, not differently felt to different parts of feet, such as heel to mid part to toes as before. Sometimes walking felt as automatic. Sometimes at the turning point, mind was thinking whether to turn left or right.
Good, good. I'm fairly descriptive and you have observed very subtle aspects. It's an encouraging thing.
Sitting meditation. Body felt light-weighted, only one feet touching the floor, and parts of skin where flies sat becoming observed. Mind felt calm and happy. Focus was on breath, where inhale was longer than exhale at the beginning, which changed later to almost equal lengths. Inhale could be observed as an arch, smooth, cool airflow going in through nostrils to back of the mouth, very quickly followed by expansion of the abdomen. Exhale at nose and stomach. Moving in was observed as a more faint and short movement happening together. Focus got changed to tingling of skin where flies sat, and also brush them off when flies sat on the face. I usually tend to get distracted by sounds with liking or disliking, but today birds and Bothal Pattara announcements were noticed, but was not a disturbance. However, focus was on breath, got diverted to flies many times. Dear Bhante, seek your advice.
Good, good. I mean, let's have some Bothal Pattara also. And actually, I forgot to mention that during that previous report, someone has mentioned that he has participated so many retreats, it appears like kind of an artificial sort of a thing. It's true. It's true. It is kind of an artificial setup that we are continuing. But interesting thing is, without this, you can't get into the, you can't take it to the daily life. So this is very much like the training camp. So you can't go to the war immediately. So training camp is not the battle fair. Before getting to the battle fair, you need to first train. That's it. So Kalalgoda is like a training camp. Nissarana is like a training camp. That is not really the battle war front. So you are trained here. As much as possible, you have like-minded people, and you are developing mindfulness, developing concentration, developing wisdom. And slowly, you are now exposed to various outside events and family events, office events, and so much of different social events. There also now you have to bring your practice. That is how the whole life event, so everything becomes part of the practice. So it will take some time. How you are evenly maintaining kind of a clarity of the mind, undefiled state of the mind at every place. So that is where we are bringing our practice to the daily activities. So that is how we are developing in a way. So you can't immediately do that unless you have this kind of a fairly feasible environment for us to develop the necessary qualities, develop skills.
We have concluded the reports.
Okay.
There are 3 Dhamma questions.
Okay.
Theruvan Saranai, during the last retreat Dhamma sermon, Bhante explained the function of contact in very profound way in the threefold meeting: dependent, origination, nama, rupa, and 6 classes of contact.
Mm-hmm.
but when referred to some other sutta came across contact as one item in Satara Ahara, Ahara Sutta. In when Nama Rupa formed Adivachana Sampassa, Patiga Sampassa, please be kind enough to explain the function of contact in above places, as contact is a reason for feeling and conceit. Meritive.
Yeah, actually contact is one of the prominent teaching. How it happens, now I am just explaining you how I understood, so you're free to further investigate. And as you mentioned, there are 6 categories of contact. The contact happening in the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind. So 6 categories we can understand. Chakku sampassa, thota sampassa, gahana sampassa, jivha sampassa, kaya sampassa, mano sampassa. On the other hand, how it happens? Chakkuncha padicca rupecha uppaji chakku viññānam tinnan sangati passo. So whenever eye and form come in line and then meeting together generates the eye consciousness. Now it repeatedly happens, this process. Now these 3 phenomena very much like working together, giving us a sort of a feeling, a kind of a understanding, okay, that is, these 3 are together, they are happening right now, giving the necessity of contact, forming the phenomena of contact. Now this contact, when it happens during within say animate body, living body, there are 2 types. One is the Patika Sampassa, the other one is the Adivachana Sampassa. Patika Sampassa is the mere the sense organ and the corresponding object meeting together. That's very entirely physical in a way. Now, as your eye getting contact with certain light and whatever the object, so now the whatever that Patika Sampassa is there. But the recognition part comes later. Later doesn't mean say after 1 minute, almost like at that moment. That is actually the what we call as the Adivachana Sampassa. So in order to make the Adivachana Sampassa, you need the mind's involvement. So that is where the sort of the Nama Rupa comes to the picture. So there are, in the Nama, there are 5 components: Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara. So they are helpful of recognizing this, whatever the contact. So that recognition part, naming part, labeling part, everything is the mental activity. So that part also part of the contact. So that means for the contact to really happen, you need not only the physical contact, but there is a contribution coming from the mental side as well, that is the Adivachana Sampassa. So these 2 are essential for the proper contact to happen within a human mind. If Adivachana Sampassa is not there, you may not really recognize it. Even though certain physical contact is there, you are not recognizing it because Adivachana Sampassa is missing. So this contact is basically having some relationship with the name and form, Nama Rupa. So in the Parissamuppada, Avijja Pacca Sankhara, Sankhara Pacca Viññānam, Viññāna Pacca Nama Rupam, Nama Rupa Pacca Salayatanam, Salayatana Pacca Passo. So the Passa and name and form are directly related. In between there are Salayatana, but if we forget about that middle link, so there is a direct relationship between the name and form and the contact. So without name and form, you can't do the contact. And that means for the proper contact to happen, this mental recognition, identification or understanding or labeling part, giving a name, etc., is one essential component. I hope the answer. Yeah, please. Yeah, can you pass the mic?
With all the respect to you, Bhante, if someone can focus on the contact at the very beginning, that means on the Patika Sampassa, without going to the mind kind of element.
Correct.
So that is the where we can get the free. I mean, like you will be away from the defilements and.
Yeah, that's what I also understood. Yeah, I also understood now. Now, I still meets with the form, but you are not naming it, you are not labeling it, you are not bothered to recognize it because you understand no point. You have a certain dispassion towards that sort of process. So even though the paticca sampassa happens, you are now very much like withdrawn from that adivachana sampassa. As a result of that, you are merely seeing it. Seeing has become a mere seeing. You are not bothered to focus onto it and giving it a name and adding a value and you like and dislike and all that. Not present.
One can focus on the paticca sampassa and with mindfully. Then I think with the Suttamaya Jnana that so you can stop that point.
I don't think Suttamaya Jnana alone can do that. You need a very sharp, very quick mindfulness.
Yes, that's what I'm saying with the mindfulness itself.
Correct.
At that point, the paticca sampassa, you can stop.
Correct. That's what I also understand. I mean, these things are, I don't want to say strictly follow me. I mean, this is how I understood. So, basically, the paticca sampassa may be happening because eye is working, it's a healthy eye. And this physical contact is keep going on. But mind has withdrawn from giving it a name and labeling and all that. So, as a result of that, the mind's involvement is not there. Therefore, you can simply experience mere seeing, kind of an overview like of seeing, and similarly mere hearing, mere smelling, tasting, touching, simple as that. And you are just keeping onto that level without getting to another certain mental involvement.
There is a question on we have been residential meditation programmers for a couple of times and intend to undergo this 2 months residential program in Myanmar, Panditarama forest.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
They want to go to this 2 months residential program in Panditarama forest in Myanmar and wants your
advice.
Yes,
it's an interesting one, but unfortunately now Sayadaw Pandita is not available. And to be honest, I am not much aware of the current teachers. And Bhante Dhammajiva seems not much happy about the current teachers. So actually, Nissarana no more sending monks to Panditarama. So we almost have stopped sending monks. Because when Sayadaw Pandita was there, it's fairly strict and it's well dedicated for the practice. And he himself is giving Dhamma sermons every day. It's being translated to English. It's fairly comprehensive way that everything has happened. But after his passing away, I don't know current status. So therefore, I am not updated about the current situation about Panditarama.
Are you okay, Bhante, for last one?
Yeah.
According to Alagaddu Sutra, why Kamaya is considered as maskapana kotayak? Please explain. I know fulfilling 5 senses is very dangerous thing, but sometimes I wonder, is it possible to stay away from all these desires as a lay person?
That's why, go slowly, slow and steady. Ogatharana Sutta is the best kind of a Buddha's answer. So, even though you need to cross the flood, you can't immediately cross in a straight line. You have to take certain amount of momentum coming from the flow and make use of that. And anyway, you are crossing also. If you are into too much struggle, then you might wash away. If you are not making an effort, you may sink. You may sink, basically. Therefore, it is not that we are becoming completely luxurious and completely involved in the sensual gratification. At the same time, we are not into the sense mortification. So the practice is very much like you understand, okay, I still have desires and time to time still I need them. I need to satisfy them because still I am not that developed. I am not an arahant. I am not an anagami. Still desires are there. So it's like a child. Say your kid, if you want to encourage him, you have to give him some, maybe candies and this and that and all these things. These are not really necessary, but that is how he being happy. Our mind is very much like a childish person, where you need certain kind of an encouragement, certain kind of a gratification sometimes. But slowly, that gratification has to be harmless, and it may turn into a less gratification. At first, you can't immediately avoid everything. Then it becomes a disaster. Assume that you are stopping everything and you are going to have a strict martial law. It's not going to work. Because we have to be more human about ourselves. Because I was living like this, I have so much of desires, I used to do this and everything. So if you are turning everything one shot, stop everything in one event, so that is also not going to work. Then the mind may sort of go through certain severe sort of mental agony or something like that. Some psychological issues can happen at that time. So therefore, go in a smooth, slow way, but keep kind of a direction. Okay, this is the direction I have to go. Slowly I am improving. So as you are developing mindfulness, as you are developing wisdom, so you can understand the desires, as someone has also mentioned. So you can understand the desires. And also as you are continuing, so the giving up, letting go become fairly natural. It is not that you are forcefully stopping. Rather, the mind will not ask too many things. A kind of a natural letting go starts happening. It is not that you are forcefully trying to restrain your mind. At the beginning, it is also necessary, as we saw from Venerable Nanda. So he is careful, he is restraining the senses. It is necessary, but not only that. So as you are practicing Vipassana, so desires become, understandable, and again it become less, and letting go become quite natural. So therefore, take time, don't be too strict as well. Okay, that's all the questions we have. I hope that is enough for today. And thank you very much for attentive listening. Theruvan Sannai.